Hey internet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay or LiJo, and I have some relatable content possibly for you today if you're an INTJ or maybe some other introverted NT likely type. We all have repressed memories, I would like to say, and especially myself, I have a terrible memory. It just seems like all of that stuff that happened before is just poof, vanished. And so referencing personal stories is really hard. For some reason, this one was triggered in my memory this week, and it's so bizarre that I felt like I had to share it with you. If you'd like to book a video session with me, you are welcome to click the link below for my platform Snug and book time with me. We can talk about the brain, #relate. So here we go. It was a cool December when I was in middle school. No, actually, I don't remember what time of year this was, but as many of you have heard in, some other videos, there was one childhood video that I did have. It was always very difficult for me to relate to other kids my age, have relevant topics of conversation. I always felt as though other kids kind of had this vibe when they would play together, when they would interact together. There was this symbiotic nature between parties. And then I would try to insert myself, and then that just would not happen, right? It was kind of like the buzzkill walked in, and I was just trying to do my best, being like, hey, is this how the humans do the human thing? So because of that reason, it was hard for me to make friends and keep friends, because even if I did become friendly with someone, it was really hard to maintain a relationship in which I feel as though like that they felt was rewarding because of the symbiotic nature between me and them. So fast forward a little bit to the ages of middle school, right? Everyone is exceptionally awkward. I was no different, and even more so, I would like to say. So I had some neighbors who lived close to me. I wouldn't say like initially we were compatible friends, but it's like we lived close, our parents knew each other. It's kind of like that forced friendship, But, they were nice, and they were nice to me, and they tried to include me. But again, there was always this sense of discrepancy as it relates to the dynamic, right? It wasn't fluid. And being a younger INTJ human, like I saw that and I was like, why did these parts mix well together? And then I tried to come in and I cannot mix well with the ways they are mixing, right? And so I really saw this as a thing, and I was like, dang, like I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how to approach this better. I don't know how to be more cool, more like in the flow. They're always like laughing, making jokes with each other, and it just seems so natural, right? And then I would try to like do something like that, and it wasn't working. And the topics that I would try to talk about or things I would bring up just seemed like very unrelatable to them, right? And you're young, you can't drive, you can't go find other humans, you get what you get. And so something interesting that happened one day, and this was the memory that got triggered, was I was at my friend's house, and her dad said something to me, and I didn't quite hear what he had said. And so my response to him, it ended up being very, it sounded very ditzy, very stupid, as it relates to the actual question, right? But what I had heard, it would have made sense, right? And so I came back, he said something to me, I kind of like look around, and I come back with this really dumb answer. And then to my surprise, everyone kind of like laughed, and they were just like, haha, like, oh, like that's funny. Like, no, he said this, like, ha, And it's like all of a sudden the vibe had changed, right? Like all of a sudden they were interacting with me in this different way. And I was like, oh, is this all it takes? And like I realized what had happened. I realized I had misheard what he had said. I had said something that was stupid compared to, the information that he had shared. And I was like, oh, so this is what I have to do to create a vibe that people like, right? So this is probably 7th grade, I want to say, in middle school. And so what I continue to do from that point is like every so often with this, small friend group, I would just like play dumb. I would play this kind of like dumb card, and every single time it made them vibe out. Like it made them relate to me more. It made them kind of like bring me in as like one of the crew, because it's almost as if it gave them some kind of superiority, perhaps. But like it created this kind of dynamic where they felt more comfortable, right, with me there. And so it was funny because deep inside I was like, I know that I'm playing this just to see like if I can keep these friends around, because it seems like the only way that I can do it. And so I played that card for probably, with only this group of people, for probably like 2 years. And then when I went to high school, I just couldn't keep up the act anymore. I ended up going to a different district anyway. So I didn't really have to worry about playing that card. Then funny enough, when I kind of saw them later, whether it was later in high school or might have been in college, they were just kind of like, hey, yeah, remember? And I was just like, yeah, I'm not playing that game with you anymore. And then like the friendship just dissipated. But, you know, bringing this memory back, I was just thinking about like how strange it was to be a kid in middle school and to feel as though that I had to fake being stupid in order to feel like I could fit in or keep a friend or relate to someone, because that created a dynamic that made me relatable, and definitely not something I could have sustained or would have wanted to sustain. But it was definitely something that got me through a little bit that period, to be like, okay, at least I can kind of hang with the humans a little bit right now. At least like 2 hours on a Saturday, like I can feel as though I fit in. I can speak some kind of language that's relatable to these people. And just kind of how terrible but also interesting in this spectrum of life that was. So I'll probably forget about this instance in 2 weeks from now, and that's why I wanted to share it with you today. I'm sure some of you can relate to having to change your mental landscape in order to, you know, interact with people better who don't think that same way. And yeah, so happy to be around people who do think many of the same ways as I do, who approach information the same ways I do here on the internet. Internet friends are great friends. So I will see you next time in my next video, Internet Friends. Till then, just use your brain the way it is. Don't try to be anything for anyone else. Goodbye.